This is the final production video in the series on preparing Russ Camerer's EASTTOP EAP Performer 16-holer with the blue covers. Available for like $110 from EASTTOP Harmonica, which is an eBay store. That's the best price you're going to find. That's where I bought it. And this harp is a gift for Russ because he's going to be making KETTLEWELL resonant covers for my EAP, and I got him this one so he can actually, make the covers and have a harp. And it's a gift. What we're doing today is gluing on the button, this is the button that came on the harmonica. It's thin and it has a 90-degree angle here, which means your finger touching it is going to hit a lot. And then this is the custom button that I made for him, which is much larger and comfortable. I'll show you after I get it on. I'm going to go over the process now in putting a button on in detail. First step is, since we're going to be working with some epoxy, metal epoxy, JB WELD, is to get some rubber gloves on. This is a large space I'm in, so I don't have to worry about ventilation right now. But you definitely want to be working in a space which is ventilated. So the gloves come on first. The next thing to do is to mix the epoxy, which is done on typically on an index card. And this is a 50-50. These compounds are pretty much inert until they mix. And you have about 7 minutes to do what you're going to do. So you try and put equal amounts on like that. And that completes that part. Then they're mixed. And you'll make a gray paste. You have to mix it thoroughly. Okay. And now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to fill the hole in the bottom of the button with this epoxy very carefully. I'm going to get my magnifying glasses. I'm back with my magnifying glasses, and I'm going to turn the light on now. So the headlamp. The goal here is just to fill the whole hole, the entire hole, with this epoxy. That's all we're trying to do. So you come in and push it in. Fill it up more. Okay. Great. Now the hole is filled. And the next thing is wipe this epoxy off while you can still get it off your screwdriver. The next thing we have to do is clean this bottom, and that's done really just by rubbing it on paper like that, okay? So I've got epoxy in it. Now, see, that's a shoulder, and then there's a nub. The button must rest absolutely flat on that shoulder. And I've seen extremely pricey custom harps that have not had their must be absolutely seated perfectly. And I found the easiest way to clean up the extra is to just take that like that. Then I press it, and now I use light to make absolutely sure that everything's cool. I'm going to go ahead and do a second wipe here, like that. And this is that new button, which is comfortable at all angles of attack. Okay, if you use crazy glue, it'll hold until the slide hits the ground or the floor, and then it will crack out. That's not a good adhesive to use. The best one that I've found is this epoxy. And of course I'm wrapping in wrapping paper right now so that it won't put crud in the air. You know, there's no more smell. Now the next thing, you can see it is on there perfectly. And of course, the reason I use a lathe to make these is that the hole in the bottom of the button must be within 1/2 10,000ths of an inch to the tine, the nub that was on this slide, and then it's firm in its hold, and the glue just holds it on there, but it's actually getting its full support then from the nub against the inside of that hole in the button. They're a lot of work to make. I use a 1946 lathe, which is back there, to do it. You want to make sure also that you haven't gotten any glue on the slide by accident, because that would be nasty. And now all we have to do is stabilize this for drying. And I insert it into a book, and it just holds it straight up and down. Again, checking the alignment to make sure it is on there at exactly 90 degrees. So we're going to go in and we're going to put it in the book. Okay. And we're using a jazz book today, like this. And you just kind of come here, and I'm going to do it here and then explain it a little bit too. I don't want to try and do this and explain at the same moment. Okay, now it's in the book. The book holds the slide without damaging the slide. The book is stabilized by a pot, and we're checking the alignment one more time. And I'm going to turn the light on here. Let me see if I've got another light I can use. It's around here. I don't. Here's one. Nope, that's not one. Here's one. Okay. What am I checking on? I want to make sure that two things. That the alignment is 100%, and it is. And I want to make sure that that button is absolutely seated properly on that button, which it is. So this button is ready to go, and it just needs to dry, which I'll give it 24 hours. Then the harp will be reconstructed and shipped to Russ. So that's what it takes. And as I know a lot of you don't have the availability of a lathe, you're going to have a hard time making a button without a lathe. That's just the way it is. And you can make them. They're made out of aluminum bar stock, which spins in a metal lathe. And then you kind of make these buttons. Now that button's only there because it was a reject. That's a stock Sidell Saxony button. But that one, the hole was cut wrong in the bottom, couldn't be used. Well, hope you enjoyed that.